All right, Shalom Aleichem. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I like to give double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. I like to say Shalom to the elect that teach His word in all true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to get into a lesson on how pretty much slavery is going to come back in a major way, man. Hardcore, slavery, man. And the table's gonna be turned. You know, the oppressors will become the oppressed. You know, the ones that's downtrodden would be the ones that's doing the trodden down. You know, and the main characters involved is Jacob and Esau. But we understand Scripture is prophesied that the elder, at the end of the day, the elder will serve the younger. So matter of fact, let's start out with this in the book of, because, Juneteenth just passed, you had niggas just think that somehow they free. And it took all the time for the so-called white man to acknowledge that this supposed to be a so-called holiday. Well, the thing is, man, none of that shit don't matter, man. Because the only way this thing is gonna be made right is that we gotta have you in captivity. We gotta put you in chains and beat your ass and have you build our kingdom up for the free. You know? You know what I mean? So, matter of fact, let's just get this. This is the book of Isaiah 14:2. It says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids." See? So, once America get destroyed, when everything's said and done, the nation of Israel will possess these other nations. They will become our property, especially the so-called white man. He's not even going to have his own land when the smoke clear and the dust settle, man. He's not even going to have his own land. So, matter of fact, continue on. It says, "And they shall take them captives whose captives they were. See, and they shall rule over their oppressors." So, the table is finna be flipped. And that's why you see this man doing everything in his power, scratching and clawing to keep his head above water, because he understands that once he's thrown down, he's actually going to fall under our feet. Because that's the only way that would make sense. Just like how the rich man, matter of fact, let's get that. The rich man benefited off the destruction of Lazarus, him being abased, him being under the feet of him. So you don't think that's how we're going to be on top? You got to, when you have a kingdom, you got to have subjects. That's how it's always been. So matter of fact, let's get this. This is the book of St. Luke 16. Bear with me. St. Luke 16 and I just get the whole thing, because this pretty much sums it up. This is trading places. This is the roles being reversed. This dynamic between Jacob and Esau, this is being summed up right here. This is St. Luke 16:19. "There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day." And that's talking about starting with these bankers, man. Because they're the ones that's living lavishly. They don't hang around just a person that's just part of this system. Like you catch them in a bar in the midst of these Americans, or you catch them eating at Old Charlie's or some shit. No, they living life to the fullest, man. By the way of, they don't even touch the ground, so to speak. By the way, they landing on different tops of buildings by the way of helicopters. They eating the finest meats, you know, and a plethora of other things. You know, everything is pretty much is at their disposal. But how did they get to that point? You know, by our downfall, by our blood, sweat, and tears. You know, which one of the things what really got America, up there, became a superpower so fast. Slavery, man. Was those bankers was the ones that funded it, and you seeing the results of it, man. It says, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. See, full of sores, those wounds of slavery, man. Because you look at Jake, they all bugged out, psychobabbling, and you notice the condition our people is in. Well, that's come from getting our ass beat over the generations, being under that hardcore bondage. Now it's more of a mental slavery. We still in slavery. It's more of a mental thing now, man. It says, in desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. See, because there's a lot of people Jake just want $1 million, 100,000. That's them crumbs, man. Which unless us being so downtrodden, we have pretty much lost the luster to rule, man. Our people don't got a feel for rulership, to dictate what goes on the planet Earth. Our people lost that, So we just, our people, we just want the crumbs, man. Like I said, that's why a nigga go to the studio diligently writing rhymes, because he desiring the crumbs. It says, moreover, the dogs came and licked their sores, and see, even the other nations benefited off our downfall. So that's why all these, especially the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, but as well as the other nations, Moab and Ishmael, Ham, all these other nations had a play in our downfall. All of them had us in captivity one way, form, or fashion throughout time, man. But in this time, it's a feeding frenzy, man. Which is spearheaded by Esau, Edom. It says, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. So pretty much meaning that everything has ran its course. It was going to be a point in time where we was going to be abased. Then we was going to be raised up. Or I said that the beggar was carried by the angels. And it was a point in time where the rich man was going to, do what he do. He was going to be exalted. Then it was going to be a point in time where he was going to be abased. That's why I said he was buried. It says, and it came to pass, Slakia. Verse 23, it said, and in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torment. See, so this man, there's going to be a point in time where once he's get overthrown, he's going to be in hell, meaning in a low condition, slavery, because that's what it is. See, we tell you, it's fates that's worse than death, so to speak. When you rich, the best punishment is to make you work now. If you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth, so to speak, everything was at your disposal. You didn't have to lift a finger. Well, the best punishment is to make you work now. The best punishment is to turn you into a servant. That's the best punishment for someone that was rich, that was living lavishly, just like how the Lord did us. That's why I said we were waxed, fact, and kicked. So what was the best remedy for that? Or based on by putting them in slavery. So that's how the Lord did us. This is how the Lord's gonna do the Edomites, so-called white man. Starting with these bankers, because they're gonna be the first crops of the slaves. But it's gonna trickle down to the whole nation, man. So it says, in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. See, so meaning in the kingdom, that's it's going to be that this man, how they say, so-called white man is 400 years ahead of us. Well, that's how it's going to be in the kingdom. We're going to be light years ahead of this man. You know, they ain't going to be able to catch up. They ain't going to be able to have the same status that we have in the kingdom, man. You know, it says, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So this man is going to ask for relief. He's going to be crying out because of the hell he's catching, man. You know? But it's the same thing we doing. We asking for, and that lets you know Yahweh Shema Shai is a power of justice, man. You know? Because that you see that all the way up to this day, our people is asking for a dip of water on our tongue by the way of us marching, protesting, saying stop beating our ass, stop shooting us in the streets, you know, which our people crying out for the wrong things, but they just want this shit to stop, you know. But guess what? Esau gonna cry as well, man, for the hell he's catching, for the torments he's gonna receive, because he done it as well. It says, but Abraham's, this is the point right here, this is the point I want to get. It says, but Abraham said, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, see? And likewise Lazarus evil things, see? So pretty much what he was pretty much saying, remember slavery? Because the only reason why he received those good things because of what the evil things Lazarus was receiving, man. You know, that's the only way he was going to prosper, was through our abasement, through us being cast down. Him, you know, we fell under his feet. You know, it says, but now he is comforted and thou art tormented. See, so it's gonna be, the roles are gonna be reversed. Now we're gonna be, Esau is gonna be laid down, and we're gonna stand upon him. You know, we're gonna walk on over him, man. You know, so the very thing this man have done to us is gonna happen to him. So that transatlantic slave trade, well, this is gonna happen on a bigger scale than that, man. You know. Matter of fact, let's get this in the book of Revelations 13 and 10. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. See, this is a commandment, man. You led us into captivity. And you can't say that never happened. You know, you got movies and different pictures and, you know, different old artifacts. You know, you still got they still got those yokes of irons on display. It's proof that the so-called white man took the so-called Negro, Latinos, and natives in captivity, man. That's a well-known fact. If you don't know anything else, you know about slavery. You know? So, he that live in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. See, that's mandatory. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. See, and that's what we patiently waiting on. To subdue this man. Just how this man was licking his chops to get at us. You know, this nigga, hey, Esau, that's, hey, man, matter of fact, let's get that in the book of, I think that's Lamentations 4. Bear with me. Lamentations chapter 4. Bear with me. Yeah, Lamentations 4 and 19. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven, See, which is, who is the eagle? The Romans, the Greeks, these Americans, the Edomites, the so-called white man. It says, they pursued us upon the mountains, and that happened when the Romans besieged Jerusalem. They chased us out of Jerusalem, 70 AD. It says they laid wait for us in the wilderness, and they chased us out went to the western parts of Africa, and guess what? Them niggas came right back around and took us into slavery, man. So you don't think that's gonna happen to him? You know? See, he's on a run now, but it's gonna get to the point where he's gonna get uh, chased down and tied and bound up, man. You know, when the destruction take place, when the smoke clear and dust settle, we're gonna be getting these niggas out the these bunkers. This how this man, he had these Hamites, these other nations to come subdue us, to bring us over here to the Americas. You don't think we're gonna subdue him? Matter of fact, let's get that in the book of Psalms 149. Like I said, these other nations gonna get the feel the brunt as well. But the so-called white man, which is our arch enemy, he's gonna get the whole thing. So this is Psalm 149 and verse 6. It says, matter of fact, I start at 5. It said, let the saints be joyful and glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. See, and this is talking about the kingdom, man. When we'll be at rest, when we'll be comforted. So let's see what it entails us being upon our beds. It says, let the high praise of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hands. Yeah, because we're going to have the power to exercise judgment, man. This is how we're going to firmly establish the kingdom, man. It says, how we going to do that? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. See, so these heathens gonna catch it because their heads is gonna get it. Get it. Oh, it tells you that those Gentiles, those heathens gonna bring their kings unto us. They're gonna be our nursing fathers and nursing mothers. So you might have Nebuchadnezzar bring you a drink. Darius the Mede to, cut your grass or whatever the case may be, however it's gonna be. But they're going to become our servants, man. Because we were once their servants. And how much more the nation of Edom, the so-called white man, which this was the worst captivity of all, tells you that no thing has been done under Jerusalem to any other nation. And that was ultimately that happened under the banner of the so-called white man. The worst thing you could think about, that oh, look at what happened to our lawyer. How should I tell you, he was marred more than any man. But who did it to him? The Romans, man. The Edomites, so-called white man. So how much more gonna happen to them? It says, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. See, these men of the upper echelon of Esau. They got a voice, they got to say so over certain matters. They're the ones that are going to get rounded up. They're going to be the first cross of slaves, man. The nobles of Edom, the dukes of Edom. Those bankers, elites, and it's even of the lesser luminaries. Somehow Bill Gates got away just to be the first crops of slaves. Elon Musk, that nigga in the field somewhere. But this is what's going to take place. This is justice. It said to execute upon them the judgment written. See, it is decreed. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh from outside. See, so this is an honor. This is what the saints has been waiting on. Hastily waiting. This is justice. The reason why we're in this condition we're in is because of what the so-called white men have done to us. Dealing with, this hardcore bondage. Your ass whipping like no other, man. So you don't think the very same thing gonna take place, gonna happen to him? Matter of fact, we can wrap it up. We can end with this. I think that's Joel 3rd chapter. Bear with me. Joel 3. Joel 3 and I'll start at 1. It says, for behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And this is that time right here. Because now you're seeing the nation Israel being united, the northern and the southern kingdom, which really the elect is being gathered together in these days. And this is the beginning stage, and this is going to be a build to the Lord ultimately pluck us up from this place. It says, I will also, gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. See? So, in the midst of us getting gathered, for salvation, the Lord is gathering these other nations for destruction. It says, and they have cast lots for my, and it said, because of what they have scattered, this transatlantic slave trade, and as well as, we were scattered throughout, these generations. But, hey, Esau did a number, man. With this transatlantic slave trade, you had those, because, those northern tribes, they was down there already they was on ships, but way before we got over here, man, the southern kingdom. All up in Europe and shit, Spain and shit like that, So they, Esau, hey, that's why he gonna get the bulk of it, man. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. You know who that is. Yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. See? So slavery is coming back to you. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, which is really the elect. That's the gold and silver. That's who the Lord is really angry about. Because you touched the apple of his eye, man. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, the Edomites, that ye might remove them far from their border. It says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, which you see that now, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And that's why we declaring that this man will go into slavery. Because it's written in stone. It's a decree from Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Matter of fact, it says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. See, so this is going to come back in a major way, man. See, you thought 12 years a slave was bad, or these other slave movies. But that's going to only half of what Esau is going to experience, man. Tells that he's going to receive double. So slavery is going to come back in a major way, man. It ain't like that's going to die down. We're going to say bygones be bygones. No. This is about to come back in a major way on a global scale. And this is going to involve, the same ones that's dictating the vibration of the planet Earth. They're going to be the first one to go into slavery, And it's going to actually ultimately come down to the whole nation of Edom, as well as these other nations. They're gonna experience this as well, but especially them Edomites, they're gonna get it the worst, man. So yeah, I just hope to edify. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakha Kudash. I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I like to say shalom to the elect that teach His word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. DTA, abide. Soon. Very soon.